Are you tired of the blind leading the blind? Are you ready to escape the 9-to-5 grind and build a life that truly makes you happy? Are you ready to build generational wealth for you and your family? If any of this sounds like you, then breathe easy, because you are exactly where you need to be right now. A wise man once said, "When the student is ready, the teacher shall appear." So have faith in what I said and follow the path. My name is Khadijah Lashaun, and I am the Black guidance counselor that my community needs. I'm a strategic investor and CEO. I make money in my sleep, and I teach others how to do the same. I share my knowledge, talents, and resources with others. So if you're in need of that motivation or courage to start following your own path, look no further. My intention is to share as much value with you all as possible and to show you that there are many different paths to happiness and many different paths to wealth. You just have to find the one that's right for you. Doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Can you hear me good? I never used this before.
You're good. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine.
All right, I'm good. I'm good to go now.
You're good to go?
Good to go.
Okay, and how much time do you have? I don't want to infringe on anything else.
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to jump into it right away, but because we have a limited time frame, and that's partly due to me, I'm sorry about that, but would you like to just do your side? Like me interview you first during this episode, and then we come back at a different time and do the me on your show?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I'll just run through my intro, and then we'll get started. But is there any questions that you have for me before we get started?
No. I think we're good to go.
Okay. All right, cool. Today's episode was recorded via Anchor by Spotify and re-uploaded online. Hello, everyone. My name is Khadijah Lashaun, also known as your Black guidance counselor. I'm here to guide you to the resources that you need. I have with me here the host of the MisGuided podcast, Juwan. Juwan? Is that the right way to? Juwan.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. When I came across your stuff, man, it's like you and I just did the same thing, but like differently, you know? So I really relate to a lot of the things that you do, a lot of the things that you talk about. I know you talk a lot about Turo, investing and stuff like that. So I definitely want to jump into that. But before I get into that, just tell the audience who you are and just tell us who you are.
Yeah. I mean, my name is Juwan. I like to call myself a progressive entrepreneur because I'm gradually progressing in stages and gradually expanding businesses and ideas. So that's what I do. Yeah, I just do a bunch of different stuff.
I hear that. What would you say are the most, like, the things that you want people to find out about you, like, to come to you for?
I'm a realtor. So realtor first. And I'm a mobile notary out here in California. And I also do Turo and Airbnb as well.
So we are like the same. We are the exact same, because I was about to get my real estate degree, but the pandemic happened. So, but okay, that's really cool.
Are you still getting it? Are you still in the process?
No, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be an investor, not a realtor.
Okay. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
So I figured it out. I'm like, I got the education. I did complete the course and everything. I passed the course. I like barely passed it, but I passed it. So, but I didn't go with the license. It just didn't seem like the right move for me. It's a lot of maintenance, and I didn't really feel that much pressure to really want to help people buy houses. More so like I want to learn how to do it for myself and teach other people how to do it too. So
there you go.
Yeah, but I really love what you're doing. I love everything that you got going on. So tell me a little bit about your first entrepreneurial venture.
First one would be the Turo. Well, no, not really. I mean, first if you got to go way back, I used to like make T-shirts and stuff like that, and I used to sell cell phone cases back in school. So and glasses, but I guess like what really did it for me was after college I got into Turo, and that kind of just like re-sparked something in me to just keep creating business ideas and keep networking.
Okay. That's cool. What so tell me about Turo. What do you do with Turo? How many cars do you have? Tell me some numbers. Tell me what you feel comfortable talking about.
Yeah. So I started when Turo was not even what it was today. Today is popular. Everyone wants to talk about it on TikTok. But I've been in it for about 4 or 5 years. And so back then they used to like really care about the host. They
Mm-hmm.
used to like give the host like 90% of the of the earnings, right? And now it's like 75, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so back then was super cool because um it was just higher cash flow. Now it's still cash flow, but the market's a little bit saturated. A lot of people want to do it. But cool thing about me being back then doing it is now I already have the profile, I have the review. So any cars I add now can still get rented pretty quickly and at a higher price because I've been in the game.
Yeah.
So I say I got up to a point of like 5 or 6 cars, and then let's see, COVID hit, so I got down to two,
Mm-hmm.
and just kept it two. Throughout the 4 to 5 years, I've never missed a payment or not made a payment on a
Mm-hmm.
car due to Turo. Even through the pandemic, actually, Turo was very popular through the pandemic because all the enterprises and Hertz were shut down or they didn't have enough cars. So
Mm.
Turo was the go-to.
Yeah.
As far as cars and stuff, I'm in California, so when you think California, you think sunny weather. So convertibles are really good out here. Um, had a
What
couple
kind of
convert.
convertibles?
Yeah, I had Ford Mustang convertibles. Camaros do really well out here as well. Um, I've had commuter cars because we're in the Bay Area, so Passats, Volkswagen Passats, and BMW. A lot of people love BMWs out here.
Okay. What would you say, like, if you could do your investment to return ratio? So how much, like, you don't have to say the exact numbers, but like if it was like, okay, say you invested a third and you got back three times as much. Like how is the fluctuation with how much Turo brings in for you?
For me, it's not really about it's not investing because you're not investing unless you're putting a down payment on the car, then that's kind of like investing. But
It's paying for
it's
itself.
it's zero money up front, right? You go in, you buy a car, you don't put a down payment in, you use your credit to get a car,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have a monthly payment. And so to me, that's like almost like 100% RI. Now, if you're putting a down payment, that's different, but I don't recommend it. There's no need to unless you got really bad credit and want to
Mm-hmm.
lower the payment or something. But yeah, so I mean, most of it is just really using your credit. So if you're okay with going into, I wouldn't go into a dealership and get a car, a loan from whoever they refer, right? Because when you go into a dealership and you say, hey, yeah, I want to buy this car, yeah, what can you do for me? They're gonna run your credit through 20 different companies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's bad. Um, so what I suggest is before you even go find a car, go to a credit union near you and get a pre-approval from the credit union. Because credit unions usually have better interest rates. That's only one person you're running your credit through.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a pre-approval, which if you know in real estate is super like, and you can't view a house without a pre-approval. So it
Yeah.
should be the same with a car. Get
Mm-hmm.
pre-approved first and then go look at cars. So you know how much you're working with. Um, so I'd suggest that for anyone trying to get started. Um, but yeah, as far as like money up front, there's not really no money up front. say you buy the car, it's on your credit. I guess the key things to note are make sure you try and get a low down payment. I mean, not low down payment, a low monthly payment, so
Mhm.
that your cash flow is higher.
Absolutely.
If you have a 700, 900 monthly payment, trust me, I've seen it before, for a Toyota, then
Lord,
yeah,
Toyota.
you're not gonna, right? You're not gonna cash flow that much, or if any, right? So you
Yeah.
want like a super low payment if possible.
Okay. So, all right. All right, that was very good advice about Turo. I appreciate that value you share. And I know you do it a lot on your YouTube channel and your podcast. Um, so I guess my follow-up question is like, okay, you're doing the same thing I do. You convert your liabilities into assets. So instead of just getting a car for you, you're changing into a cash flowing asset for you so that it's making money while you sleep. That's important. This is the mindset a lot of people need to get on now because that's the only way you're going to survive this world. But I wanted to ask about Airbnb. How did you get started? Just talk me through that. And do you rent out a room or you rent out your whole place?
Yeah. So Airbnb, I got started. I mean, just kind of like with the Turo stuff. It was like, all right, I'm renting out cars, might as well rent out places.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple ways you can do Airbnb. There's rental arbitrage, which is I'm gonna go put my name on a lease in this apartment complex that has such and such units, and then I'm not gonna live there. I'm actually just gonna rent it out on Airbnb and try
Mm-hmm.
and be sneaky with it. That's one way.
That's sneaky. Sneaky,
Yeah.
y'all. Don't do that.
Second way is you can buy a home, uh, rent it out on Airbnb. You don't have to be sneaky because it's your home. Uh,
Exactly.
Third way is you can do corporate leasing. So if you have an LLC, you can pitch to the leasing office. Hey, I have an LLC. I want to use this as a corporate stay for employees, whatever. And pitch it that way. And the lease can be under your business name, which means anybody in the business, right, coming in and out the business can actually stay there.
Okay.
That's another way. So there's those three ways um, to open up Airbnb. But yeah, I dabble in pretty much all of them. And so do the rental arbitrage. I just bought my first home and Airbnb that as well. But yeah, those are
Okay.
the kind of different ways.
Okay. So let me ask you about the Airbnb where you own the property. Do you live in it too, or do you rent out like a portion of the property, or you just have the property solely for Airbnb?
Right now it's solely for Airbnb.
Do you furnish the whole property just for Airbnb?
Correct.
So, okay. When it comes to that, are you doing these transactions under your business? Are you doing it personally? Like, what do you recommend people do?
I'd recommend. Oh man, well, it's long.
It is a
It's
long
long.
process, right? It
It's
doesn't
a
take.
long process, but long-winded answer because it involves a bunch of different stuff. So I guess right, that a lot of people ask that question. Depends what you're comfortable with, right? Like it all depends on the person. If you want to use the programs that are cheaper and easier to start with, so FHA loans, conventional 5% down payment loans, then it has to be in your name.
Hmm.
It can't You can't do it in the business name.
Okay.
So that that would be easier to start with, lower cost. You can always transfer the property into an LLC. That's easy. You just transfer the deed from your name to an LLC. Um,
Or you
but
can put it
yeah,
into a trust.
or trust. Yeah, either one. Or you can put it into the trust and have the trust own the LLC.
Hmm.
So there's a bunch of different ways. But if you're not good with paperwork or accounting or anything, none of this matters because what say you get sued, what lawyers will do is they'll do this thing called piercing the veil. So um they'll find something in your accounting or something that links your personal assets and your business assets. And therefore, all that work you just did becomes zero because now your assets are linked together. So now they can go after all your assets. So
Even if it's in a trust?
like it, well, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know much. I've just heard stuff, but there's ways that lawyers can get around it if you're not good with your stuff. Bookkeeping, accounting. If you're commingling funds from business to personal, then yeah, I mean, now it's not a business; it's your personal
You're
stuff.
right. So you
So
got to get their accounting all together.
yeah, and a lot of people I think fail with that is they're like, oh, how do I protect myself? Let me just go transfer all this stuff in the LLC, but then still use the LLC like it's their personal, or they mix and mingle and stuff. So
Okay. Okay.
but like I said, I'm not a lawyer, so you gotta find a
Absolutely.
lawyer. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, so right, I mean the home is in my name and everything. So yeah, home's in my name. I bought conventional. And yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Tell me about some entrepreneurial lessons you learned. Like major lessons that you feel like people need to know.
So
Other than accounting, because that's flat out. Everybody needs to figure that shit out.
wait, can you repeat that question again?
I said, can you talk through maybe one or two entrepreneurial lessons that you learned, like maybe mistakes that you made or things that you learned from that you feel like people should be aware of when they're pursuing entrepreneurship?
Um, I would say that's a good question. I would say do the due diligence and the work prior. What I get a lot of people who just like ask questions without Googling first.
Mm-hmm.
Like like Google, like that's how I learned. Google. You know what I mean? Like before you just bombard somebody with time asking questions like, what are the insurance policies for Turo? Like, that's on their website. You can just look at it first, right? If you have questions
Exactly.
into detail about it, then you go. But like I get a lot of questions, it's like asking really just plain questions that I could easily just Google.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yo, like, do the due diligence first if you're serious about it, because no one's gonna want to work with you if you're not.
That makes
That
sense.
that's one. And I mean, my other one would be literally just research, because like research, but also don't research enough to where you get stagnant, because a lot of people just like, oh, I need to research this. A lot of people think they need to have it all figured out before starting, and that's where a lot of people fail and never start, is because you'll never ever have it all figured out. The
Mm-hmm.
only way to figure stuff out is to actually put your foot in there and get going.
You got to get your hands dirty, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely. Are you on a spiritual journey?
Spiritual journey, no, not as much as I wish I was.
Why is that?
uh Just, well, what do you mean spiritual journey exactly?
Do you feel like, okay, so like let me backtrack a little bit because we never really talked about what you did before all this. Um,
Okay.
so what made you take that dive and pursue entrepreneurship full time? Let me go into that and then we'll go into the spiritual journey stuff.
I guess. I mean, um, well, it's yeah, I don't know. I mean, in 2020, I was fired from my job that I had worked at for 3 years, so that kind of put a little fire under me. But
Mhm.
before that, I was even doing entrepreneurial stuff, and I guess before that, it all started from when I went to college, and I would just see all these rich white folks at the college that I was at, and wonder like how they got to where they are.
Mhm.
And so I just started asking questions, doing research, listening to podcasts, reading blogs, and just learning, taking the time from school and just learning out, doing the due diligence myself.
Yeah.
And then I just started to realize that there's like a very similar a very similar connection between all the people that have wealth. And that connection was they own a business and they own real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, well, how do I get here? And then I met a friend of mine who had the same mindset as me. And he actually brought the idea of Turo to me. And so we started doing Turo from there. And
So you started with a partner?
no, he actually just, no, we started separately, doing it separately.
But y'all were on the same journey together.
On the same journey together, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna ask you another question before I get to the spiritual stuff, okay?
All right,
So,
all right.
has there been a time during your journey where things could have gone very bad, but somehow, some way you were saved?
Uh, like bad is, but like what's
Like
bad though?
like maybe you fucked up. You made a mistake. You did
Oh, that's
something
a, yeah,
wrong,
yeah, all the
and
time.
somehow, some way it still worked out.
Yeah, yeah, all the time, for sure,
All
for
the
sure.
time. So that's why I asked, are you on a spiritual journey? Like, is there a mission that you're on? And it doesn't have to be God. Like, I'm not gonna push religion on you, but more so like, is there a reason? Like, you created the MisGuided podcast for a reason, right? Like, what is your mission?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say. I don't know if it's spiritual though. I think that might not be the right word for me.
I
I think it's
understand.
I think it's more of, I mean, unless you want to relate spiritual to self,
Self growth,
like self
development.
growth. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
self development. That's the word right there.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
word.
I got you.
So, but yeah, I'd say it's more of like. So your question is pretty much like what motivates me to do all that stuff.
Yeah. Like, what's your mission? What is your goal?
My
What is
mission
the
is to build an
intention?
empire for my family and for the next generations to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
So that includes just working, building businesses that they can carry on, building wealth that they can carry on. Because I was a first generation college student, uh, like single mother. Like I wasn't taught this type of stuff about wealth.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I had to literally Google it, find out on my own. So like the whole purpose and the purpose of the podcast and everything and what I'm doing is to just, give my kids an opportunity to learn at a young age, which is also why I wrote my financial literacy book. But it's also like giving people just a platform to learn. Like a lot of the kids in the area I'm from, they're not given this chance, right? They're not giving a chance to learn about these type of wealth building tips. And so I
You're
think
trying to
that's
make
the
that change to help other people because it's not just about you. Like, yes, it's important that you build that for your family, but also to help others and to light the path for someone else.
very, very much so.
I
Very much
got
so.
you. Okay, so all right. With that, do you do positive affirmations?
Nah, no, I don't. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you
I
talk to
don't.
yourself?
Uh, I mean, not like, yeah. I mean, like, I'll motivate myself in a way. Like,
So that's
I
yeah,
believe in like I
positive
heard I was
self-talk.
actually I had a podcast with somebody not too long ago, and they were like, what's been helping them really is what. So say they're about to go into a soccer game,
Mm-hmm.
what they would be like is I'm gonna score a goal.
Speak
I'm
it.
gonna score a goal, and so they'd be like affirming it, and they've scored a goal like 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And so I believe in shit like that for sure. I mean, I play sports, so all the little superstitions and shit I believe in.
So speaking it into existence, you believe into that?
Facts.
You believe in manifestation?
Yep.
Then you're on a spiritual journey, man. I don't know. You're just calling it something different, but it's
Why
the
that
same.
gotta be spiritual? What
It
makes it
doesn't have to
spiritual?
be spiritual. I'm not going to lump you with that, okay? Because I know that spiritual can come with a lot of different connotations, and I don't want to make you feel like I'm trying to lump you into a box. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that you're on a journey. You're on a journey, and you're on a journey of self growth, personal development, all that stuff. So that's great stuff to hear. For anybody listening, just know that like it doesn't take like Rome was not built in a day. It takes time. It takes hard work, and with focus, you will get there. So, what I was going to ask you is tell me a little bit more about your financial literacy book because I saw that you had something on Amazon.
Yeah, so I wrote a children's book teaching children how to save, manage, and invest their money,
Okay.
and talk about a bunch of different array of stuff, 401ks, crypto. I talk about crypto. I talk about a bunch of stuff like how to manage money, and I give scenarios and stuff, and so um,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
What's it
I wrote.
called and
It's
how can
called
people find it?
Money Talks: The Beginner's Guide to Investing for Kids. It's available on Amazon. It debuted as number 1 in children's education the first
Wow.
day, and number 3 in bestsellers.
High five, man. Good job.
Thank you, thank you.
Good job. That's impressive. Honestly, that's really good. I'm glad to hear that. And you're that's a mission right there. Like teaching people financial literacy. We need to know this stuff. Like and breaking it down in a way for kids is like even more empowering because anybody can understand it. You know, if a kid can, so can you. So that's awesome. All right. Tell me more about Okay, so tell me about, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. Tell me how you target, do you target a specific audience when it comes to Turo and Airbnb?
Turo, not necessarily. I try to stay away from people who I think are gonna trash the car or something, but um for Airbnb, definitely I try and target a certain group, which is like traveling nurses.
Hey,
Um,
yo, we are like the same. I have a travel nurse staying with me right now. I
hey,
hear
there you
you.
go.
I
They're
hear
the
you.
they're the best ones because they got money,
They do.
and they take care of your stuff, and they're barely home, so they're barely like using your stuff, you know. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, nah, I love that. I try and do that. Try and do like business people like for the Houston Airbnb. You get a lot of people who are in town for like a business conference or something like that, right? Like an event. Um, but yeah, just trying to stay away pretty much anyone but partiers, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. That makes sense because I've heard a lot of, do you listen to the Host Nation?
Nah, I don't. Is it a podcast?
It's a podcast. It's really good, actually. It's all about
Okay.
short-term rentals. It's
Okay.
called The Host Nation. It's on all the platforms, so I recommend it. Anybody listening, I recommend The Host Nation because they have like people who have like portfolios of like 10 plus properties, and they do short-term rentals with all of them. So those are like the
Okay.
type of those are the type of rooms I want to be in. You know,
Hell yeah.
virtual rooms. You know, that's where the money is. The virtual room because you can reach anybody virtually. So um before we get off this phone, when did you want to do my episode on your show? Like when do you think you have? I mean, it's a little on the spot, my bad, but I'm just saying I would like
um.
to come on your show. I really would, because I feel like I got something to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. It would have to be either at the end of this month, probably. Probably at the end of this month.
We could try for
20.
the 22nd. That's when my next e-course releases. So I mean,
It had to be like the 26th or the 27th.
okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's actually right on time. Where hold on. I got some more questions for you. Give me 1 second. Okay, so how many properties do you have, and how long did it take you back to make back your investment, like in the furnishing? So how many properties do you have, and how long did it take to get your return?
that's a good that's a good question. So I had a property in LA on Airbnb last year, and the way the deal set up, that property got instant returns. But for it's really all how you set up the deal. So for the let's say the Houston property, I opened in November, so I haven't gotten my I guess my returns back yet. It's
Mm-hmm.
only been what two months. It got started getting rented out at the end of November is when we were done, or middle or something like that.
You
So
literally. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I literally started Airbnb in December. That's crazy. That's crazy, bruh.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Are
Okay.
you Airbnb in your spot?
I'm Airbnb in a room in my house.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah, there
Yeah,
you
because I
go.
was just like, basically, it took me a long time. It took me 2 years to get started. I was already renting out the basement. And so, when I finally like basically I had to get my house in order. I had to get my habits straight, like as far as cleaning, keeping everything nice and neat. I had to hire a maid to get me realizing what clean really looks like because I thought this was clean, but it could be better. So
Facts.
learning about like interior design and stuff like that, setting up the space real nice. I currently don't have heat in my house, so I have like a personal heater in the room to keep it warm. Like just doing little things that I can, doing what I can with what I have, because I feel like a lot of people they stop. Well, me personally, I was stopping from starting for so long because I kept adding more stuff to my checklist. I kept being like, oh, well, I need this and I need that and I need that. And it's like, yeah, it would be nice to have those things, but what do you truly need to get
All
started?
right, here's a tip for everyone listening. You'll never don't do that because you'll never, no matter how prepared you are, you're always gonna forget something.
Exactly.
No matter what. So just make sure you got the necessities. You got a toilet, a shower. That's what the people
And
care
don't
about, and a
lie.
kitchen.
Don't
And
lie.
yeah, don't lie. But you definitely are never. No matter how many Airbnbs you set up, you're always gonna forget something.
Hmm.
Even if you have a checklist, I got a checklist. So yeah, that's crazy. Well, congrats to you on that. I'm excited to hear about that for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you to play. I share it with everybody. I give free information. I'm not gonna. I do have e-courses and stuff like that where I expand even more, but I'll just tell you to play just so you know. In case you don't know, there's a website called Furnish Finder. You
Love
heard-
it.
Yeah, Furnish Finder. What I do is I have my Airbnb listing, got professional photos done. I make my listing is pet friendly. It's pet friendly.
Oh, that's bold right there. You
Yeah.
ain't
Well,
living
I
there.
have dogs. I have multiple dogs, so they know right away.
Oh, I heard.
You heard you heard about
Yeah.
them dogs. So
No,
yeah, I
I
got
heard him
dogs.
barking. I heard him barking.
I bet you did. They in every single video, every single live.
How many dogs you got?
I have three dogs. There's two.
Jesus.
One is a lab, one is a pit, and one is a Shih Tzu, and they're all
They
friendly dogs.
and they get along with if someone else brought a dog in there?
So the way that I handle it is that I haven't had well, actually, yeah, one of my guests had a pit bull, and the pit bull just stayed in the room the whole time. The thing is, my dogs are very friendly and they're socialized. So what happens is like my dog will stand outside the door and just be sniffing at the door. Like my last tenant, she was here for a month and she had a cat. So basically the cat and my dog would be playing it with each other at the door. So it was cute. It was cute, but I didn't really bring my animals around their animals just because I don't want any bad interactions. But my last tenant, she was really cool with dogs. She loved all the dogs. So she would like even let the dogs out for me when I wasn't home and stuff. Like nurses are the best.
Ooh, let the dogs out.
Yeah, so it was cool. It was very cool. So the play is I I put a listing on Airbnb. The thing about Airbnb for everybody to know is that if you have Airbnb do your pictures for you, you cannot use those pictures on any other platform. Okay? So it's illegal to use the pictures on any other platform. So what I do is I have
Airbnb does photos? I didn't even know that.
they let you get a photographer and everything. Yeah. I
Oh.
mean, if it's available in your area, I guess. But I don't
Oh.
know why it wouldn't be available in California. Like that doesn't make any
Nah,
sense.
it's for sure available. I
Yeah.
think I've seen it before. I just was like, oh, I didn't even know. I
I
think
can
I've seen
send you
it.
my list and you can see, but I'm just saying that overall I got the professional photos done. So my Airbnb listing is solid. I use like template examples. Like I learned from someone who does Airbnb in Baltimore specifically. So I found his listing on Airbnb because he had like the same name as his Instagram names. I was like, oh, this is the same dude, and he has like three properties. Let me like, so I just made a whole spreadsheet of like, okay, what's the name of the property? What's the link? How much does he charge a night? How much is he making a month? How much is he making in 3 months? How much should I charge a night? Like just like analyzing everything about it, and then coming up with the best price for me. And then so what I did was I'm not trying to take all your time. I'm sorry talking through this, but um what I did was I promote my Airbnb on Furnish Finder. So on Furnish Finder, I have my listing, but they send out every month there or every week they're sending out leads of travel professionals, travel nurses, travel medical professionals, whatever, who are coming to your area and they need housing. And so they give you their text number, email addresses. You have to pay a fee, but you got to pay to play. But it's a good situation because that first tenant found me on not the first, like the third tenant found me on Airbnb, but this most recent one who booked me for 2+ months, she found me on Furnish Finder, and I send her my link to my Airbnb so she can book me on Airbnb instead of like having to take care of the transaction some other way. I'd rather go all through Airbnb, you know. So I'm just letting you know, just so you can, if that's an idea, if it sparks an idea in your head, like go with it. So
Facts. Let them know, because that's
yeah,
for sure. That's
Furnish Finder, y'all. Furnish Finder is the place to find those travel nurses. Cause the thing is that I realize is you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, because if Airbnb shuts down, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You know, like if Airbnb, say one guest, God forbid, I'm not even gonna speak those things into existence. I'm just saying, do not put your all your eggs in one basket. Like put your eggs in multiple baskets. And there's also like location rentals, y'all. Like y'all ever heard of your income space? Your income space with Ashley and Brett? Yourincomespace.com. Go to that website, or just look it up on YouTube. It's Your Income Space. They're talking crazy shit, and they're in California too. They're making hella bank renting out their space by the hour to freaking productions and stuff, you know?
Peerspace. It's a great app.
Peerspace, exactly. Peerspace. There's a couple of other ones, but I talk about all this stuff in my e-course, guys, just so you know. But I'm always promoting myself. I'm starting to get it now, like, and it's helped a lot for me was meditating and stuff like that, because it clears my mind. Meditating clears your mind. So if I could ask you where you're gonna be in 1 year, no, in 5 years, where are you gonna be? What will you have obtained? And when you answer, try your best to say I am.
In 5
Like
years.
pretend like we're 5 years from now. Where are you? And what are you doing? And what is your life like?
In 5 years, in 5 years, I am a successful real estate agent, and I am having a mobile notary business that is doing extremely good, and I am hiring employees, and I am very active in my kids' lives, as far as like, because they'll be like school age and into sports or
Absolutely.
whatever they're into. Um, and then I'll be traveling the world with my wife.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can see it. I can see it. Can you see it?
I can see it.
You gotta visualize it, man. You gotta see it and speak it to believe it, you know? But
I'm super futuristic, so this is on my mind every day.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, let me ask you something else. I know we got a couple more minutes. How much time do you have? I don't want to cut into
I
anything
got
else. Yeah.
No worries. I got 10.
10 minutes, okay. Let me ask you some things that you're doing to build generational wealth. Like I know I saw a video where you had mentioned something about you building something for your daughter, or you invested in a custodial account. Hello? Hello?
It wouldn't let me get back in on my phone. It kept tripping, so I'm on my computer. You can hear me all right, though, right?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
Okay, I'm
sorry
glad
about
you
that.
got back on. You good? I'm just glad you got back on. I was like, oh no, because we have to finish, you know.
Yeah,
Someone for I had a note. Someone called my notary number, so they were trying to schedule an appointment, and I declined it. But I guess when you decline it, it still takes you off of the podcast because it uses the mic
Yeah.
or whatever. So I didn't know that, and so my bad. But also, crazy thing is, we were just talking about Airbnb. Someone just sent me a request for the Airbnb.
Hey, ain't that the best feeling, bro?
Yeah, 2 nights, $400.
Okay. Hell
Crazy.
yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what you
But
do. Okay, so that's
what was your
good.
question? Yeah.
So my question was, you had mentioned in a video about you had set up like a custodial account for your daughter, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so
Or
tell
my
me a
son.
little bit about that and tell me just as quickly as you can, why are you doing that?
Yeah, custodial accounts. I mean, shit. Could you imagine if you were a kid and you turned 18 and found out your parents have been putting money away every month for 18 years? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that is now worth like $1 million at 18
Mm-hmm.
years old. Could you imagine how you feel?
I feel amazing.
Right? You'd be like, damn, I got so many ideas. Like you would just have a head start. A lot of the kids, a lot of the, let's just say it, white people, white kids, they have a head start because their parents gave them one. So why not give our kids one, right? They could choose to start a business, a couple businesses. They could really they could choose not to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of options. So I just want to give my kids the option.
Absolutely. And
If
that's
you
powerful. That's very powerful. And I commend you for that because how old are you now?
28, I just turned 28 Sunday.
So this is a 28-year-old, you guys, who is saying he's ready to start building generational wealth. So time to get started, okay? It's time to get started. If you haven't already, it's time to at least start thinking about it and planning for it. Cause like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. So that's awesome. That's very
Well,
awesome.
the thing people got to know is too is like in investing, it's all about time. So
Mm-hmm.
you know the one thing you can't get back is time. So as far as investing, if you invest early on, it's so much better than if you had $200,000 and invested it when you had the money. Like, no, take the time and invest monthly because compounding interest is really in your favor.
Okay, we're gonna have to probably do a follow-up interview about interest. I mean not interest, but investing in
Oh yeah,
general. Because I feel like that's something people don't know about compounding interest and stuff like that. So I feel like that's something that we can talk more about. But before we get off, I want to ask you two questions. The first question I want to ask you is what books do you recommend everybody read?
Money Talks: The Beginner's Guide to Investing. Adults can read it too. I've actually had adults read it and learn some stuff from it. But yeah, definitely, I think that book. If obviously if you haven't, Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of the greatest books to ever touch the earth.
Mm-hmm.
uh, that book. Damn, I got a whole list. Oh, Will Smith, the Will Smith book. That shit
Okay.
insane. If you, I don't read. I listen to books. So,
Uh-huh.
but Will Smith book is definitely crazy. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Does he do the voiceover for the
Yeah.
audiobook?
Oh yeah. I'm not reading the book if they're not doing it. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool. Okay, I would definitely listen to that then.
Yeah. What? Oh, I was
So
trying to
Will Smith's book, y'all.
find. There's a couple. Let me see. I'm trying to pull up my library real quick.
You good?
I say Rick Ross's books are really good as far as like relating to our culture and relating to like being a boss. I think those are good.
He does
Uh,
the audiobook for those too?
Yup, I say Charlemagne's books are really good as far as mental health
Wow.
um, and getting together. Um, also, any books by Bigger Pockets if you're into real estate. Bigger
Okay.
Pockets.
What
I
kind of
said,
real estate?
oh, Blue Fishing was really good. State well, any type of real estate, any type.
Okay.
Yeah,
Blue fishing, what's that about?
thinking. That's pretty much it. It's by Steve Sims. It's
Okay.
just a way of thinking, blue fishing. It's like a way of thinking for business. Um, Gary V, Crushing It. Russ,
Gary
All
V.
in Your Head.
Okay.
Gary V, Ask Gary V.
And where do you listen to your audiobooks typically? Like
Oh,
YouTube or
Audible.
Audible? Okay. All right. We only have a minute left, so I don't want to keep too much of your time. So, for anybody listening, what is your last piece of advice for everybody before we end the show?
Stop waiting. Go ahead, go do that thing. You got to get in there to make mistakes. You can't learn all the mistakes before you get in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Juwan, for coming on my show. I appreciate you. I love the value that you've been giving this entire episode. I really appreciate that. I know our audience definitely does too. So I look forward to coming on your show. So let me know if you have any questions for me or anything like that. I'm going to send you the link once everything's official, okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
Amazing.
You have
Thank
a
you.
blessed one, okay?
You too.
All right. Bye.